The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the program host and do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by TCN TV Network Incorporated. Due to the social nature of this broadcasting channel, videos may contain content copyrighted by another entity or person. The TCN TV Network claims no rights to the said content. TCN TV Network cannot be held accountable for the copyrighted content. TCN TV Network is a messenger and sharer of information and strives to verify but cannot warrant the accuracy of copyrights or completeness of the information on this program.
At Benjamin Law, we understand the real cost of personal injuries. As the victim of an accident, you may be the one who's physically hurt, but your main concern is that your family are the ones who will pay the price. Benjamin Law will be there for you, helping, supporting, and working tirelessly to resolve your personal injury case. Call 1-855-899-4878 or visit benjaminlaw.ca and let our family of lawyers help your family.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity and our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
Good evening and welcome to another episode of On Point on this Tuesday, July 23rd, the year 2019. We're here this evening broadcasting to you live from the beautiful city of Brampton. We're discussing issues of great importance to you as Canadians. These issues are important to you. We will talk about them. This evening, I'm delighted to have with me Faraz Salim, who and I will break down the different topics, different issues that we're faced with today. On our program today, we are looking at the federal election. On Monday, October 21st, 2019, we are scheduled to go to the polls. So we'll take some time, we will break that down for you to let you know what's at stake, what the issues are as we prepare for the federal election coming up. And in the second half of our program, we are very excited, and I know for us, we're very excited about this as well, because we're going to be talking cricket, lovely cricket.
Oh, yes.
And that's coming up. We have the G20, the Canada G20, that's taking place right here in the city of Brampton, and we will spend some time to have a conversation about that. So, as we said, on Monday, October 21st, we are scheduled to go to the polls, where we will elect the next Prime Minister in the 43rd general election that we will have here in Canada. It's also a time when we will get to select who will be the next local MP in your area. All the terms come to an end and we will choose. Canada has 338 ridings. All of them will be up for to be contested on the 21st of October. We know that the party that wins the majority of these seats will eventually form the government, and the leader, the person who leads the party with the most seats, will become the next Prime Minister of Canada. So we have some contestants. The Liberals, they are hoping to hold on to their majority and by virtue to remain in government. So the Liberals are currently the governing party, and we have as well the Conservatives, some of the main political parties who are hoping to unseat the Liberals and to form a government of their own. And of course, not to be outdone for us, we have the NDP, who are hoping to move from a situation where they are the third party to hopefully form government. And if that should happen, that would be the first NDP government to lead this country. So, which one of these parties do you like? which one of these parties' policies speaks to you? And finally, who are the leaders? Who are the leaders of these parties? We have the Liberal will once again run Justin Trudeau as their leader. You know, Justin Trudeau brought them to victory in the last election that took place in 2015. And he is the only one, funny, of all the three main political parties, he is the only one who ran in the last election. So he's hoping to once again lead his party into victory. And after Justin Trudeau, we have the leader of the Conservatives, Mr. Andrew Scheer, who is the leader of the Conservative Party. He is the 40-year-old member of Parliament from Regina, and he is hoping to be Canada's next Prime Minister. Not to be outdone, we have the next Mr. Jagmeet Singh, the 40-year-old member of Parliament from Burnaby South, who has a very strong connection with us here in Brampton, having been elected first as the MPP, one of the MPPs here in Brampton. So, ladies and gentlemen, those are your choices. People for leaders, people for parties. Salim, Faraz, what do you make of it? Are you ready for the 43rd general election for this country?
It's interesting you say that, Jermaine. Just not so long ago, we were part of a municipal election campaign last year in October, and this year we're now part of the federal election campaign. So it's almost like there's continuous door knocking, and it never went away for some of the folks who were part of the municipal campaign as well as the federal campaign now. Living in Brampton, which has predominantly been a Liberal stronghold, the 5 MPs in Brampton are currently Liberal, minus Raj Gurwal, who's sitting as an independent. And
but to point out, though, sorry not to jump in, to point out, he did win as a Liberal in Brampton, yes.
Yeah, he did win as a Liberal, and but the dynamics of Canadian federal politics is really a funny mosaic of individual personalities and different messages and different leadership teams. We have Justin Trudeau, who's personally the most popular. He's recognized as a brand in the country as well as outside the country. The popularity is perhaps based on looks, perhaps based on charisma, perhaps based on policies. You know, many things to talk about there. Andrew Scheer on the Conservative front is gaining a bit of momentum based on some of the issues that the Trudeau Liberals have faced in the recent past. He's gaining a bit of a momentum. Jagmeet Singh, the first person of a visible minority to actually lead a federal party, is also gaining momentum. At the same time, there's also other players in this game. The Game of Thrones or Game of Politics, as we would want to put it. Elizabeth May from the Green Party, Maxime Bernier is now promising to deliver candidates in every riding across the country, and most likely they'll take away some votes if that's the case. You know, their people, their designated representatives are out door knocking, asking for votes. So they're just creating a bit more for people to think about and present an informed decision on who to vote for. Then there's the Bloc Party, which doesn't really affect Ontario as much, but they're also up on the lead based on such a division at the federal level, with the Liberals facing a media backlash on many of their policies, as well as the Conservative picking up a bit of momentum. So it's going to be a very interesting summer with door knockers, with advertising, with Facebook ads, with social media promotions. So it'll be really interesting to see what the outcome is for this election. As
far as you have outlined it very well as we're up on the first break. It's important to point out that, based on how our democracy operates, yes, we're looking at who the leaders are in terms of the persons who lead different political parties. But on an individual level, Canadians on a whole will be voting to elect a local member of parliament.
Of course.
And then the party that has the most MPs elected will eventually go on to form government. So it's a bit of a challenge for some folks. On one hand, you might want to vote for your leader, whoever the leader is, because you like the leader. On another hand, you might not be very familiar with who your local representative is. And that kind of presents a challenge for some people, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's that's a challenge. There's MPs who've been in Brampton for the last 40 years, and as they're door knocking, sometimes people ask them, "Oh, I've never seen you around." And it's, as a candidate, it's sometimes a struggle to touch all the constituents in your riding. Most of the time, if you're door knocking, you may miss them. And it's important for the candidate to present themselves first, and then the party. So people can make an informed decision on the candidate versus the party.
Great point. We will be right back. We will take a break, and then we'll come back. We'll take a look at what's in store. What are the policies? What are the issues that you should be talking about or be considering as we head into this 43rd general election for Canada? Stay with us.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. May your dreams all come true. Happy birthday to you.
We refuse to promote, report on anything negative in the community. With so many newspapers within the community, it's sometimes hard to tell what separates us from the rest. Most of the time, they all brag about the same thing. You know, the large circulations, tons of online views, and it can go on and on. But what really separates the Toronto Caribbean newspaper apart from everybody else? Well, it's simple. Our service. No, seriously. Hi, I'm Grant Browning, founder and CEO of the Toronto Caribbean newspaper. I have over 20 years of branding and marketing experience, and I've worked with countless companies and corporations to do one thing, and that is to raise their profits with their brand. With over 40 years of combined experience in branding and marketing, our amazing staff is fully prepared to sit down and figure out exactly what you need to stand out from your competitors.
The reason why you don't see that anymore is because
the ad is too powerful, bring too much people.
So what are you waiting for? Give us a call today. We'll be happy to help.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity and our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
At Benjamin Law, we understand the real cost of personal injuries. As the victim of an accident, you may be the one who's physically hurt, but your main concern is that your family are the ones who will pay the price. Benjamin Law will be there for you, helping, supporting, and working tirelessly to resolve your personal injury case. Call 1-855-899-4878 or visit benjaminlaw.ca and let our family of lawyers help your family.
Welcome back to On Point, your #1 political and current affairs talk show program. This week on Tuesday, July 23rd, we're talking federal election. As you may be aware, on Monday, October 21st of this year, 2019, Canadians go to the polls for the 43rd general election, where we will be electing our next government, members of parliament, as well as person who will be the Prime Minister of this country. We have joining us attorney at law, political commentator Wesley Jackson. Wesley, your thoughts generally on the choices that Canadians face in the 43rd general election?
Well, I think it's a really interesting time. And one of the things I wanted to pick up on, some you guys were kind of touching on earlier. We have a very charismatic leader in Justin Trudeau, who fills out crowds. When he was in Chinguacousy Park was full.
Oh, yep.
And I think it's a really interesting choice that some of the other parties are making to attack his popularity head on. Certainly, Mr. Singh has a certain amount of charisma. Andrew Scheer, in certain circles, seems to have a certain charisma. But do they all have universal charisma to take on a charismatic Justin Trudeau? I would far prefer to see a lot more meat in the attacks. Attack his policy, attack his record, attack his the failures to have fresh water in all of our First Nations communities, rather than attack him on a personality basis. I mean, great hair, but he's not ready yet, didn't work.
Last time
he got
around.
elected,
Yeah.
yet there seems to be a lot of that same flavor in the early campaigning. So I think it's going to be really, really interesting. And I think even your bleed red liberals will be forced to admit that Justin Trudeau has not had a perfect term as Prime Minister so far. That he certainly has things to answer for and things that he can be attacked on. So it's a really interesting choice that we face in the next election.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about Justin Trudeau. He came in 2015. We call a massive red wave. He talks about sunny days, and sunny days are ahead. On the international stage, he talked about Canada being back, and he was rewarded with 184 of the 338 seats, forming a majority government. So let's take a look back at some of his time. In your view, let's give him some good points first. What do you think was probably his most major accomplishment, Faraz, and those you could think about that as well? What do you give us a major accomplishment of this government?
Interesting, even for our viewers, there was, if you just Google this concept of how the last Liberal government, or the current Liberal government has performed, someone has maintained a website online, and they list all of their promises. So the campaign made 231 promises and delivered 104 of them.
Okay.
So, they've done a reasonable job of delivering 45% of the promises.
Okay.
But a chunk of stuff is still missing or has not been attended to. There's a lot to do, of course, being the national government. There's a lot of stuff to do. But to Wes's point, we still don't have fresh drinking water, clean drinking water to our First Nation community. So there's major challenges that affect Canadians on a daily basis. So outside of the challenges, some of the positives that the current government has taken credit for is reducing the business taxes from 11 to 9%, as well as increasing the child tax benefits for families and parents. So there's some good news, but it's been a mixed performance by the current government.
Wesley, their best achievement so far. What's your take on that?
Well, I certainly think internationally we're doing quite well. I mean, we're topping lists of great places to live. We're topping, if you think about it as the zeitgeist, people are perceiving Justin Trudeau in Canada as taking leadership positions on climate change, environmental change, certainly, like you say, gender equity issues in terms of appointing a balanced cabinet. These are all things that are good for Canada. And they set a certain tone internationally that says, Canada is a great place to invest. It's a great place to immigrate to if you're a skilled worker or a professional. Those things are really, really positive. And I think that they do good things. And we've seen better job numbers. We've seen good economic numbers. Now, Doug Ford will say that the blue wave in the provinces is responsible for those numbers. And history will sort that out at some point. I think, quite frankly, there's enough credit to go around. I think that you can have an honest conversation about which direction to go to strategically between sort of a left and a right way of looking at things, and still give credit for the progress that's been made.
I want to follow up on something you said there. For example, you mentioned, and I'll follow up on something you said as well, but you mentioned, for example, Wesley, that Canada seems to be defining itself internationally. But we seem to be having some struggles there. With China, for example, we have had 2 Canadians who have been stuck in a Chinese prison for many, many weeks and months now. We have China, for example, who is blocking our canola imports, and not taking our canola. We saw the Chinese president not wanting to take a phone call from our Prime Minister. And there was a clip making the rounds on social media recently at their as the G7 meeting, where the Canadian Prime Minister was seated next to the Chinese president, and these guys were sworn enemies. They were not even talking to each other. So are we doing that well? Is our international reputation when on the night of his election victory, Justin Trudeau declared that Canada is back. Are we seeing Canada really taking that leading role on the international stage?
If I can jump in really, really quickly, and I do apologize. About that clip, I don't put a lot of weight on that clip. There's many interpretations of that clip floating around. But I do want to say this. Canada is definitely being used strategically on the international scale. Do not underestimate the role Canada has in trying to hammer out the game of nations between China and the United States. We are being used as leverage by the Chinese. And our take on and I always mispronounce it, the Huawei phone systems, we're more amenable to it than the U.S., but the U.S. says, no, you can't bring in those security concerns into North America. What are you thinking? So we're in a very complex web of international relationships, and I don't, quite frankly, have a lot of confidence in any of the party leaders to magically solve that problem with a magic wand. None of them are going to be able to. We're in for a fight internationally because we have to defend our alliances and still maintain our relationships that we have. So sorry, I know I jumped in ahead.
For us, Andrew Scheer is for example hitting Justin Trudeau on this China file, for example. Do we see him doing a better job in terms of managing Canada's international relationships, much better than we're having them now?
Perhaps that's a possibility. Once I think we'll have to put him in that situation and see how he reacts. Justin Trudeau right now has sort of lost that credibility for me at the international level. His ability to manage this has been really drastic. But at the same time, he's also stuck in my opinion, between a rock and a hard place, right? How do you tell the U.S. government that you will not work on the actions that they've asked for you to do in this Huawei case? So it's a bit of a management issue. They've come out of a struggle having to negotiate on the NAFTA front, and then this Huawei issue, as well as taking on an economy like China. It's a bit of a struggle. So I think he's going taking on a softer approach and hoping that magically this will all be resolved.
Wesley, Justin Trudeau also branded himself, you mentioned earlier, as the feminist prime minister, appointing a gender balanced cabinet for the first time in Canadian history. Some people criticize that, talking about they'd rather see appointments based on merits rather than just on quotas. But we saw that he fell out of favor significantly with two of the major stars within that cabinet. Jody Wilson-Raybould, his Attorney General, as well as Jane Philmott. In the last 2 minutes or so we have in this segment, what's your take on that? Was it a major blow to his brand as the feminist prime minister?
I think it's one of those issues where you're with him or against him. I think the Bleed Red Liberals see it as a matter of these women were treated exactly as a male minister engaged in the same conduct would be treated. And therefore there's nothing contra-feminist about showing someone the door when they've broken party ranks the way that those two ministers had. And certainly the criticism is, in Stephen Harper's government, you would not have known that they had broken ranks. They would have been shown the door weeks earlier. I think the biggest criticism of Justin Trudeau on that file was the way he handled it, the way he handled the messaging, the way he handled the media. I hate to throw out to Ed the Sock on this, but his summary was, ministers were told not to do something, they did it, nothing happened. How is that anti-feminist? And that's from a tweet that he wrote. And that's kind of where I lie on the issue, personally.
All right, stay with us. This is On Point. We will take a quick break. We are looking at the 43rd general election. What are the choices that we face? Stay with us.
With so many newspapers within the community, it's sometimes hard to tell what separates us from the rest. Most of the time, they all brag about the same thing. The large circulations, tons of online views, and it can go on and on. But what really separates the Toronto Caribbean newspaper apart from everybody else? Well, it's simple. our service. No, seriously. Hi, I'm Grant Browning, founder and CEO of the Toronto Caribbean newspaper. I have over 20 years of branding and marketing experience, and I've worked with countless companies and corporations to do one thing, and that is to raise their profits with their brand. With over 40 years of combined experience in branding and marketing, our amazing staff is fully prepared to sit down and figure out exactly what you need to stand out from your competitors.
The reason why you don't see that anymore is because
The ad is too powerful, bring too much people.
So what are you waiting for? Give us a call today. We'll be happy to help.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity in our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
At Benjamin Law, we understand the real cost of personal injuries. As the victim of an accident, you may be the one who's physically hurt, but your main concern is that your family are the ones who will pay the price. Benjamin Law will be there for you, helping, supporting, and working tirelessly to resolve your personal injury case. Call 1-855-899-4878 or visit benjaminlaw.ca and let our family of lawyers help your family.
Welcome back to On Point, your political and current affairs program. This evening, we are taking a look at the upcoming 43rd general election right here in Canada, scheduled to take place on October 21st. For those of you who are with us, we're taking a look at the leaders and what they bring to the table. We are having a talk, reviewing the performance of the Trudeau government, whether or not they will be getting another mandate, or whether one of these two men, Andrew Scheer or Jagmeet Singh, will take over to be the next Prime Minister. Justin Trudeau, of course, brings some experience to the table, being the only party leader from these three who have led his party in a general election before. These guys are all coming in there brand new. Wesley Jackson, let's kick off with you a bit. Jagmeet Singh, very well known in Brampton, but probably new on the political wider Canadian scene. For quite a while, he was criticized for spending a lot of time outside the House, not wanting to run in a by-election or wanting to take a seat. Do you think that helped him or that hurt his chances to be better known by Canadians? Do you think it was a good idea for him to wait so long before running for a seat so he could be in the House? Now the House has taken a break. He's not getting the airtime and stuff that, you know, most of the other party leaders like Andrew Scheer, who was in there from the moment he won the leadership. Do you think it was a disadvantage to him?
I really do. I really think that, to throw to a movie quote, winners want the ball. I really think he needed to hit the ground running with a seat in committee meetings, on the floor. Even if he never spoke a word in the legislature, he needed to be in the legislature. And I think he really missed an opportunity. And I really think it fed into one of the criticisms, which is that he's a lawyer in an expensive suit leading a Labour Party. And one of the criticisms you'll hear whispered is that he dodged an opportunity to get to work. In other words, he's a back office leader. Do I think that criticism is fair or unfair? I don't know the man. I've never had an opportunity to talk to him. And like you say, he doesn't have a track record to base it on. But I think he needed to be more aware of that criticism, because I think you need to look in the mirror first and know that other people are judging you. So I really think to show that he could be aggressive and get into a fight, that was an opportunity to step into the first available by-election and say, I'm not afraid to get bruised, bloodied, or beaten around, which is what we, going back to what we were talking about on the international file, that's kind of what people were criticizing Trudeau about, by being soft, watching, waiting, biding his time. No, I want you fighting for me right now.
So far as you agree, I mean, he took his time, he waited, he gave up several opportunities to run, but when he did run, he did win. So was it a good thing for him that he was well calculated? Had he lost, then maybe he would not have been still here, but was it a good thing that he waited and ensured he was in a seat that he could win?
I think to some extent, I'm sure the party would have done their math and try to work out the best possible scenario for him. But to some extent, he really did lose that opportunity. Now the House is away on the summer break, so he's really missing out the ability to be out in front of the public, out in front of the media, ask questions, criticize the current government. So he's really missed that piece out. He does have a loyal support here in Brampton and now potentially in his new riding in BC. So he does enjoy that aspect of it, but to be available nationally across different provinces, he may struggle in that. And the most recent polls show that NDP is a bit behind versus what they want, where they want to be at. Right?
So for us, one of the things with Jagmeet Singh, he is the first person from a visible minority group to be leading a national party, the first turban-wearing person to be leading a national party in Canada. This is a significant achievement, a statement of how mature our democracy has been. The United States took forever to elect a visible minority as president of that country. Is Canada ready to do the same, to elect a first visible minority prime minister? And has Jagmeet Singh done enough to be there?
I would say he's the pioneer. Like, he's the first one out the door who's set on some sort of precedent for others to follow. He is not there as yet, maybe perhaps, because mainstream, the name is not as popular as some of the other candidates in the campaign right now. But overall, he enjoys the popularity with minorities. He's obviously someone who's visibly different versus what the mainstream is expecting. But he's definitely a pioneer. He's set something up for others to follow.
Wesley, is that playing a role in the numbers we're seeing? First person of visible minority to be elected to lead a major political party in Canada, a turban-wearing Sikh achieving that feat. How is that playing, or how do you think that is playing within what we're seeing here in terms of the 43rd election coming up?
Well, people are already asking what that does to the NDP in Quebec. And it's a very cynical question to ask, but given what's going on in Quebec right now, it's a very pertinent question to ask. We can't wave a magic wand and change attitudes in Quebec. And I'm hoping, and as a Canadian who loves my fellow Canadians, I'm very optimistic that it won't have the impact that the cynics think that it will have in Quebec. So here's hoping. Really, the difficulty I have with this metric is that as leader of Canada, he's going to represent Canada in the UN, and at the UN, that metric has absolutely no meaning. Oh, you're a national leader of color? Well, welcome to the UN.
Very, very colorful.
So it has a limited value in terms of actually merits and whether or not he can do the job. I'm really more interested in what are his policies, what are his ideas, and that's what I'm waiting to hear. And I'm very proud of him for what he's accomplished. I'm proud of the NDP for having those open doors and whatever that speaks to. But now that it's done, let's move forward. Let's get those policy statements out. And I think he stumbled early with some of his public policy statements on issues and he took a beating in the press, but I think he's starting to find his rhythm. And with the pharmacare and the healthcare expansion, he's really playing to his solid base of the labor movement and of the everyday person who faces the increasing medication bill every month. And I think he's got to build from that strong base and move forward on the policy, because value signaling is kind of what we're tired of with Justin Trudeau. So I think he needs to watch what's the Trudeau experience and hammer policy.
Yeah, I think, you want to say something about that?
Yeah, one thing I want to touch on this as well, Jermaine, is being a person of visible minority and in a position where you're the leader of a federal party, potentially could be the next prime minister, opens up a lot of doors for others. People who, you know that historically the election turnout, the voter turnout has been really poor. So when you have a turban-wearing Sikh or a person of color, they represent a certain community and they really motivate and engage that community to come out and vote. So I think it really speaks strongly on the of course, the NDP party, as well as the cultural mosaic that we have here in Canada, where there's no limitations.
Okay.
It sends a really good message, and it involves more people.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. We see that as well, in terms of the candidate selection across the country. We have seen candidates from all different backgrounds who are entering the fields, who are running across the country. So that all speaks well for the maturity of our democracy. I was at the NDP rally on the weekend. Jagmeet Singh was in Brampton on the weekend. I took some time to go check the rally out. And in terms of policy, whereas he came up with a little line, and I found the line interesting. He talked about being the party that cares, whether that be eye care, dental care, medical care, all these cares is what he wants to do. Is a line like this going to work for him? Is that what he needs to work on, Wesley, to make sure he's getting his message of being, the party of choice, the progressive party out there?
I really hope so. The Occupy Wall Street movement hasn't disappeared just because some time has gone by. There are growing wealth disparities. There are growths in personal debts, household debt ratios. A lot of that money, as the baby boom ages, is being spent on medicine. My own mother, sold her house in Brampton and moved to Tiny, in part so she would have more disposable income to pay for things like her medical care and her medication needs. That pocketbook play is very, very strong. And I think it can only be positive whether people choose to vote strategically and not split the vote to keep out cheer, so to speak. So vote Liberal and not NDP, even though they really, really want to. Him driving that dialogue will drive the policy dialogue in the next session. So hopefully he hits that drum hard.
That's a tough choice out there. We are going to have to talk a bit more about that when we come back from the next break. Can it be that the NDP will take votes from the Liberals taking votes from the NDP, or with the Conservatives being strong, and we have the PPP as well that's split away from the Conservatives? So this will be a very, very, very interesting election. Stay with us as we break the issues down. This is On Point.
At Benjamin Law, we understand the real cost of personal injuries. As the victim of an accident, you may be the one who's physically hurt, but your main concern is that your family are the ones who will pay the price. Benjamin Law will be there for you, helping, supporting, and working tirelessly to resolve your personal injury case. Call 1-855-899-4878 or visit benjaminlaw.ca and let our family of lawyers help your family.
With so many newspapers within the community, it's sometimes hard to tell what separates us from the rest. Most of the time, they all brag about the same thing. The large circulations, tons of online views, and it can go on and on. But what really separates the Toronto Caribbean newspaper apart from everybody else? Well, it's simple. Our service. No, seriously. Hi, I'm Grant Browning, founder and CEO of the Toronto Caribbean newspaper. I have over 20 years of branding and marketing experience, and I've worked with countless companies and corporations to do one thing, and that is to raise their profits with their brand. With over 40 years of combined experience in branding and marketing, our amazing staff is fully prepared to sit down and figure out exactly what you need to stand out from your competitors.
The reason why you don't see that anymore is because
The ad is too powerful, bring too much people.
So what are you waiting for? Give us a call today. We'll be happy to help.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. May your dreams all come true. Happy birthday to you.
We refuse to promote, report on anything negative in the community. With so many newspapers newspapers within the community, it's sometimes hard to tell what separates us from the rest. Most of the time, they all brag about the same thing. You know, the large circulations, tons of online views, and it can go on and on. But what really separates the Toronto Caribbean newspaper apart from everybody else? Well, it's simple. Our service. No, seriously. Hi, I'm Grant Browning, founder and CEO of the Toronto Caribbean newspaper. I have over 20 years of branding and marketing experience, and I've worked with countless companies and corporations to do one thing, and that is to raise their profits with their brand. With over 40 years of combined experience in branding and marketing, our amazing staff is fully prepared to sit down and figure out exactly what you need to stand out from your competitors.
The reason why you don't see that anymore is because
The ad is too powerful, bring too much people.
So what are you waiting for? Give us a call today. We'll be happy to help.
At Benjamin Law, we understand the real cost of personal injuries. As the victim of an accident, you may be the one who's physically hurt, but your main concern is that your family are the ones who will pay the price. Benjamin Law will be there for you, helping, supporting, and working tirelessly to resolve your personal injury case. Call 1-855-899-4878 or visit benjaminlaw.ca and let our family of lawyers help your family.
Welcome back to On Point, your political and current affairs talk show program. We are looking at the 43rd general election for Canada, scheduled to take place on Monday, October 21st. Will it be Justin Trudeau? Will it be Jagmeet Singh? Or will it be the next man we'll talk about, Andrew Scheer? Andrew Scheer, for us, came in as leader for the Conservative Party in 2017 after Stephen Harper resigned following the election loss. He narrowly beat out Max Bernier to be the leader of the Canada's Conservative and leader of the opposition. Before this as well, he served as the Speaker of the House under the Harper government. Andrew Scheer says he has a positive message for Canada. What are your thoughts on Andrew Scheer as Prime Minister of this country?
It's really interesting how we put such a nice, lovely picture of him pointing finger, just waving his finger around. So Andrew Scheer's definitely benefited for some of the drawbacks of the current Liberal government. Mm-hmm. So he's piggybacked on sort of the negative publicity or the negative press that the Liberals have been facing in the last year or so, and he's sort of built a momentum going towards the general elections in October. The challenge, though, for Scheer and the team is having a very clear message as to what their plan is. Right now, their plan's not as defined, and it's not really readily available. So they need a very rock-solid plan to touch Canadians on what their message is. And it'll also make it really important because Scheer is in a position where he's fighting with Maxime Bernier, who's sort of split from the party, and they're putting candidates in every riding across the country. That can make a really big difference on the campaign for Andrew Scheer and the team.
Was the Conservative focus a lot on building a strong economy for Canada, ensuring that they are empowering the middle class, they are empowering small businesses to do well and to grow this economy, with the view that once the economy is growing, everybody, all Canadians benefit, and that he wants to make sure that Canadians can live above the poverty line. Talk to us about your views on Andrew Scheer, the positive message that he says he wants to bring to Canada, and the positive Canada that he wants to lead.
Well, he can enunciate the goal, which is fantastic, but as you were just sort of alluding to, we all know the devil's in the details, and he's vague on the details. And what that allows the media to do and for voters to do is to start to speculate. Mm-hmm. And so we know there's been a lot of speculation as to whether or not he's going to reopen certain socially uncomfortable debates. Mm-hmm. Without opening that door, when you don't present a detail, it leaves people to let their imagination run wild. Mm-hmm. I was very critical recently, when he picked a fight with the Canada Food guy. And I thought to myself, that would never have hit the news cycle if he were talking about bigger issues in a more detailed way. But because there's that vacuum, it leaves the petty things open for guys like me to kind of poke fun at. So I really think, much like I said about Mr. Singh, he's got to come out fighting. He can't wait and bide his time. The news cycle on this election has started. He's got to present that vision. He's got to be detailed. We just came through an Ontario election where Doug Ford was not overly detailed, and it's led Ontario's, left them feeling a little bit, blindsided by some of the policy initiatives that are being implemented. When before the election it was a little bit vague, and I think people are a little bit gun shy. So he's got to be careful about his messaging in Ontario, especially.
Lots to talk about as it relates to the 23rd federal election. We are going to change gears here a bit. We want to come back, stay with us next Tuesday because we have a lot of politics to talk about, a lot to talk about on the 43rd general election. But we are broadcasting live from Brampton, and there are some things happening in Brampton I want to talk a little bit about before we wrap this show up. And there is cricket. There is lovely cricket about to take place in Brampton. There is the Global T20 Canada that's taking place here right in our city. And we have with us, as you know, Faraz, apart from also talking about the various political issues, is a champion for cricket in this city. He is actually the president for the Brampton Cricket League. And we have as well someone who will join us on the line to talk to us about the G20 cricket taking place right here in Canada. That begins on July 25th and will run until August 11th. Faraz, until we get him on the line, this is an exciting time for you guys in the cricket world. Cricket comes to Brampton, comes to Canada, G20 cricket.
Oh, it sure is. This is a big deal. This is an international cricket tournament that's taking place here at home, here in the city of Brampton, and we're super excited about this because it's bringing in a lot of international players, and it's also opening up opportunities for local residents to come watch a cricket game in real.
Okay, Wesley, you indicated you don't know much about the sport of cricket, but we have a wide, diverse amount of folks who are here in the city of Brampton from cricketing nations, whether it be from the West Indies, from Pakistan, from India, from New Zealand, all over. Should residents really get excited about the possibility of what we're doing in Brampton for cricket?
Oh, absolutely. Brampton is a sports town, and this is nothing but positive things for Brampton. I tried cricket once. I got hit in the shin with a ball, and I gave up, and personal failing on my part. But Brampton should be very excited. This is high caliber, and I'm at a baseball game. There's a cricket field next door, and there's more people watching the cricket than watching the baseball. So, I think this is a great thing for Brampton.
We have a special guest coming on. Do we have a special guest now? All right, so we will. Can we throw to a 2-minute break and come right back? All right, so.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity in our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
Welcome back to On Point. We are talking cricket, lovely cricket. And we have with us online the Chief Operating Officer for G20 Cricket Canada, Kareem, who is joining us. Welcome to On Point, sir.
Thank you for having me, guys. How's the day?
All right, we're going well so far. Talk to us about G20 cricket right here taking place in Brampton. If we could center your camera there a little bit, we're hardly seeing you on the screen, Kareem.
I apologize.
Yeah, if we could center a little bit so we could see you.
Fantastic beard.
But, talk to us about...
Is this better?
Yeah,
yes.
Much better. Yes. Talk to us about what to expect over the next 2 weeks in G20 cricket.
Well, what to expect? We're going to have some of the best cricketing action North America has ever seen and the world has ever seen. We've got the biggest gambit of cricketing superstars, the likes of Yuvraj Singh, Chris Gale, Shahid Afridi, Kieran Pollard, Andre Russell, and a whole lot more people here. They're coming specially to just entertain the crowds in Canada, and cricket truly is coming home over the next 2.5 weeks.
Who are the teams involved in this tournament? Where are these teams from? Are we talking Canadian teams? Are we talking international teams who are coming in? How is this tournament organized, and who are these teams?
So this is like any other cricket league tournament around the world. That there are six franchisees. Franchisees like Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal. We have a new addition this year in Brampton, and Winnipeg and Edmonton. So these are our six franchisees. The team composition of these franchisees are a mix of Canadian and international stars. So if I were to give you an example, the captain and star of Toronto Nationals is Yuvraj Singh, and you've got Brendan McCullum from New Zealand. You've got Kyron Pollard from West Indies, and then you've got a lot of other players, along with 7 Canadian players in the mix. So it's a mixture of international and Canadian players. It's the best of both worlds, basically.
For us, do we have any teams from Brampton who would be in this league? Do we have a Brampton league, or are we playing as part of Toronto's team?
No, there's a team from Brampton called the Brampton Wolves.
Yep.
And
Okay.
there's folks from
Yep.
the city of Brampton who live in the city who are actually part of the team, as well as international players who are part of the team. So we're really looking forward to Brampton Wolves, which is this is their first year in GT20. We're really looking forward for them to make a significant contribution to their success in the league stage.
Okay, and talk to us about where this tournament is taking place. We say it's in Brampton, but where location? How can people get information and get tickets and stuff like that for this program?
The best place to look at is gt20.ca. On their website, they have all the details. The schedule is there. The ability to purchase tickets is there. It also tells you what times the games are starting, who are the players who are playing. So it's July 25th to August 11th, and it's supposed to be a family event. It's taking place at the CAA Center, which was formerly called the Powerade Center. And Kern and his team at G20 has done a significant investment at the center to make it international standard and make it ready for international caliber play.
Okay, so Karen, we want to hear some more from you. Who should come out to this tournament? I mean, we're in Brampton, we're here. Who do you want to come out to this tournament?
Who do I want? I want everybody. I want the people who love cricket. I want the people who are going to come and watch a first cricket game. I want as many people to come and, let's say, break their cricket virginity with us. Anybody who's never witnessed the sport, it's a fun sport. It's action-packed, goes up and down. It's a thrill a minute. The format is short. It's about 3.5 hours for a game. So it's short, sweet, and it's a lot of fun. I want everybody there. I want people from South Asia. I want people from the Caribbean, people from England, New Zealand, Canadians, Americans. Everybody who hears about this should at least come and catch a game. I promise it'll be worth it.
So like Wesley, who is here, who acknowledged to have not known much about cricket, if he's coming down, if other people like him from across Canada is coming down, anything they need to take with them, what do they need to know to come? Do we need to bring something with us, or do we just come out and just enjoy the game?
Just buy a ticket, come out and enjoy the game. You will get everything there. We have a beautiful fanfare built up there. So we've got beer, food, soft drinks, coffee, whatever you need. All the facilities you need will be on site. And all you need to do is just come, watch the game.
Okay. And final question for you. We are running out of time here. For example, we are accustomed. Would there be any form of other entertainments going on? We're accustomed, for example, a Raptors game or a Blue Jays game at halftime. There's some kind of halftime show. What else will be there available for the kids, for the families who want to come out to watch this cricket show?
So we have a lot of carnival games set up in the fanfare area. Bouncy castles, carnival games, and we have very special halftime shows after in between each game. Whether we are interacting with the crowd, whether it's our dance off, whether we have the professional dance team there, or we're just having fun throwing t-shirts into the crowd, it's going to be action-packed every minute. Whether there's cricket on or not, even in the halftime, it's going to be fun for everybody there.
Karen, thanks so much for sharing with us. Thanks for coming on. We really appreciate it. We wish you all the best as you have this tournament in Brampton. We're excited. I promise you I'll be down there to watch a game or two. Thanks so much for coming on.
That's a lovely promise.
Well,
guys.
Wesley
Thank you so
Jackson,
much
Farah Salim, thank you so very much for being with us again this week. Time has run out on us. Stay tuned with us. Next week, we will continue talking some more about the federal politics. We'll take a look at the candidates who are in Brampton and what they have achieved over the last 4 years and what are the new ones promising to you. We'll talk some more about the issues of importance to you. Thanks again for making it on point. I am Jermaine Chambers. Join us next week, Tuesday.